Well, good evening. It's 7:33 p.m. here in Utah on January 1st, 2025. A lot's going on. I wanted to make a video yesterday. I didn't get to it. I want to make a video today, and I'm going to get to it. I just finished watching a very wonderful broadcast from, it was on Rumble. It's called Gideon's Army 17. Jerry Foley. Kind of a last minute thing, but I hope some of you got to see that on Rumble under Gideon's Army 17. It's kind of fun. There's a contest at the end, and I think I might have won the contest on something. I was going to title this 2025 Seeing into the Future, and just once again speak from my heart. But that's really, I think, if you really want to try to live life and be your best level of being happy about life, there's going to be ups and downs. I'm not a believer in antidepressants, and if you're down sometimes, you're down. If you're up sometimes, you're up. I think that's part of God's plan. Is sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. Just like I think it's in Ecclesiastes, but there's a time and a season for everything. And back when the Byrds sang that song back in the 60s, one of my favorite songs. So, yeah, the Gideon's Army thing's great. Because the guy that talked in it, I talked to him on the phone in Las Vegas yesterday for 39 minutes about important things for the state of Utah. Actually, Jerry's show on Gideon's Army, it cheered me up. I'm just a little emotional, so I really love the man I talked to, and he's very encouraging. Prayed with me on the phone, and then I wake up this morning, and there's so many things. People like Happy New Year and stuff, and the first thing I find out is there's a truck fire blowing up at the Trump Hotel, which I've been to many times, so I know exactly the spot, and I knew that I got a lot of books, Isaiah. I knew that the guy, anyway, I was hoping it didn't take him out, but I think he was leaving, but did a show with Ethan Lucas, and then I'm like, here I'm excited to start my new year and do a bunch of stuff, and there's a truck bomb in Las Vegas, serious truck bomb. And then I checked with people I know in Las Vegas. They can see the Trump Hotel, and they confirmed it. So anyway, so it's like not. I didn't feel like Happy New Year when I woke up in the morning, and I'm just like, wow. Talk about having your head on a swivel. Okay, so that's how I kind of started my morning. So I was kind of like, there's a lot of good things, but it just reminded me what's going on. Look what happened in Louisiana, which I think right now is under martial law, and people got killed in Louisiana. And there's people that get killed every day and murdered and all kinds of stuff. So I guess you just should thank God for each day of life that you have. And there's some serious things going on here in Utah. In the race for governor. And I met Phil Lyman, and I was wearing that coat. And Phil Lyman is was raised in a place called Blanding, Utah, which is small town Utah. Very good man. And he ran for governor, and it looks like 68% of Utah voted for him. Yet he's not the governor right now. And then the guy that was on with chief of staff and this Patriot News Network thing, which looks really good, and Juanito. And Juanito put it in perspective. I wasn't even going to mention Juanito, but he put it in perspective. If we have the wrong person in the leadership of this state, there's still little children that have to go through the DEI thing. There's still curricula about questioning their sexuality when they're little. So the national thing probably went to the good guys. Okay, the good people. But like I remember hearing a long time ago, I'm kind of national and international in the way I think and talk and my audience. But all politics are local. And I saw my kids get wiped out and brainwashed. I saw Latino friends hate people on completely false rumors. And I found other Latino friends that dug down and didn't go for the rumors. They knew the truth. And so there's been a lot of division. Families, friends, even the thing about flat Earth. Because I remember I've studied Abraham really deeply. People don't even have any clue how deeply I've studied Abraham. And I don't even want to talk about it because you study it at such deep levels, and then they think they know stuff, and they just like never, could break out of their little tiny box that they're in. People are in such tiny boxes. Someday, well, that's the way it is. It's the way this is. Many are called, but few are chosen. It's a very tiny, select few. It's very, forget the arrogance. It's just not too many people want to really know the truth. They don't want to know the truth. They want to tell you what they know, this little box. And if it's outside that box, you have to gently, basically, be politically, you have to understand their box and then use political correctness so they don't freaking have a heart attack. Because if you like open a little slat of light and like this happened to Abraham, and Abraham knew the earth was round, and there's people that are serious there. They actually believe and they're sincere that the earth is flat. It's a psyop to find out who's gullible. And it's a lot. I've had people and they're just, well, the earth's flat. You know that. Aren't you smarter than that? The earth is flat. They've never traveled. They haven't taken a ship from Buenos Aires to Houston and watched things disappear over the horizon for 2 weeks while you're on the ocean, or flown thousands of times. The earth isn't flat. It's rough. It's rough to love the truth, but there's no other way to go. So then it's like, how do you talk about the truth? And I think the only way to kind of do it, from some people I've learned a tremendous amount of truth from, is to be quiet and listen, and then don't tell people if you don't tell them the truth. If they're like, hey, earth is flat, hey, Jesus only traveled a half an hour from Nazareth in his whole life. He only traveled half an hour away from the Holy Land, which is not true. But these people, they get into these boxes, and if you tell them something that they didn't that's out of the, that they don't that they're they're not intelligent enough to let a little light in. Some people are, and so you have to see what kind of box they're in, and when they'll say, you know what, I'll learn a little bit more about Jesus Christ. Did he really go to Egypt? Is there really a holy blood and a holy grail? And at least some people will think about it. And then they'll find one source. And I was guilty of that. I remember when I first met David Avocado Wolf, I bought all his books, and I was one of the, I went raw for 30 days, lost 30 pounds, felt fantastic. And then I went to Burger King and had a hamburger and felt bad. Okay? And David Wolf's a great guy, a super inspiration. He's not perfect, but he really inspired me to go raw for 1 month. So truth is kind of a tricky thing. From my perspective, in my heart, I love truth. That's why I love super duper truthers. And people that think they know the truth, I get so much stuff like, hey, man of truth. And, when I don't reply back, let's say you're telling me about flat earth and it's obviously false, I just kind of try to drop it and still try to have a friend that's a flat earther, even though they're out to lunch. The earth is not flat. It's common sense, it's historical sense, it's studying. It's like people that believe in Darwin and Leakey and all that BS. It's like, yeah, you're a little amoeba and you crawled out of the water, and then magically over thousands or millions of years you turn into a human being. That's about as logical as saying, you know what, I'm going to go to Redwood Forest. And let's pretend I can wait in the Redwood Forest for a million years, and a brand new Rolex is going to show up beside me because it evolved from the banana slugs in the Redwood Forest. It's not going to happen. That isn't how life works. So, a lot's going on right now. To start the day with a truck bomb at the Trump Hotel, which that's the only Trump hotel I've ever been to, one in Vegas. And I'm smart enough to go there when it's $120 a night, which is during the weekdays, not on weekends. It's 5 times that price on weekends, at least 3 times that price. And so it's kind of a sobering way to start the day to see a Musk pickup truck with fireworks blowing up, and then you see it on the news, and you call somebody in Vegas, they look out the window and they see it, and you're like, shoot, I hope the friend I talked to yesterday for 39 minutes is okay. So kind of a beautiful thing to hear that friend on Gideon's Army tonight. Always, he understands about morale. And these true warriors, they understand morale. You can't be depressed. Say, okay, we gotta go defeat the bad guys. It looks like, they're violating that woman over there, and they're doing that to that child. But maybe someday somebody will fix it, or maybe if I vote right. Speaking of voting, I read a book, and I'll find it sometime. It's by Phyllis Schlafly. I think it's called A Choice, Not an Echo. And Phyllis Schlafly goes back into the 40s and 30s and shows you that elections have been reventado since then. And we're dealing with that here in the great state of Utah right now for the top spot in Utah. Filippo received 68% of the vote. Él debe ser gobernador en este momento. Elections have consequences. That's why it's serious. Affects people's lives. So when Phil Lyman, the guy that should have won the election because he had 68% of the vote, all the shenanigans to keep him out of there. But people that are interested and are part of the establishment like to stay that way. I don't know how much to bring this up, but when you're raised Mormon, the whole Book of Mormon is about wars. The Book of Mormon is fantastic. It's a phenomenal book. And the people prosper, and then the secret combinations come in. Yeah, I was going to grab that book. Which one? None Dare Call It Conspiracy. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So many books, I'm trying to get them in the right spot. Yeah. Out at Harvard. Oh, my gosh. Skull and Bones. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Gosh, man. Okay, let's put that over there. Okay. So I like the cover, but I got this book, and it's very readable. And for those people that grew up Mormon or whatever, when you're active in the Mormon Church, you know who the president of the Mormon Church is. And so this is a book about secret combinations or the conspiracy. Same thing, BTW. And here's some endorsements on the back of this book, which came out yep. Those are the people I was working with. That's Cleo and Skousen sitting down. It's me in the red shirt. He's signing my book, Making of America. And it was a great textbook that all schools could have used. And then we took him up at KGO Radio in San Francisco. And we also watched him on Good Morning America with Bryant Gumbel. And Bryant Gumbel accused Cleon, the nicest guy around, of being a racist. I donated $2,000 to that movement back there in 1982, 83, and it wiped out the whole movement. This book, people don't want to buy it because they believe the lie. The media smashed them. It's, yeah, my beautiful little ones that got brainwashed. So, on this book, None Dare Call It Conspiracy, it basically identifies the conspirators, and it's well written. And this guy, Larry Abraham, was one of Juan's good friends. So, people that are a little older Mormons, or even Americans, the older ones, long in the tooth, as some people would say, will remember this man called Ezra Taft Benson, former Secretary of Agriculture for the United States. Then he subsequently became one of the 12 apostles in the LDS Church, Mormon Church. I'll say Mormon Church, even though you're supposed to say LDS now. I'll just call it Mormon Church. Because I have some freedom of speech, me parece. Un cachito, quizás. He became the president of the LDS Church. And this is what his quotes on the back of this book. I wish that every citizen of every country in the free world and every slave behind the Iron Curtain might read this book. This was a very popular book. It got printed in paperback. I think millions of people read it back in the 60s. But if you want to understand the history of the United States and the conspiracy, and if you want to understand the Book of Mormon, you got to read the book. Because things are happening like that right now. Secret combinations continue to have influence. And the Book of Mormon warns repeatedly, don't ever let the secret combinations get above you. Don't ever let them get in control. Well, I'm an American that grew up in a pretty great to grow up in the 1960s and 70s in Silicon Valley. Beautiful area. You know, my parents bought a beautiful house for $16,000 and $500 in Mountain View on Cornell Drive in Blossom Valley. And later, that house now is probably, before the collapse, is $4 million, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. 2 baths, maybe. Or maybe it was 1 bath. I did 2 baths. I never went to my parents'. And I think it was 1 bath, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. Oh, there's a little bathroom in the kitchen, like, a half bath. Um, so this is a big fight between truth and error. You choose a lane, you choose it, and life, it's not meant that nobody said it was going to be easy. It's not meant to be easy. But I used to sing a primary song. That's what I was going to do in my video. So I'm going to sing a little bit of this primary song. Choose what is right, let the consequence follow. Battle for freedom in spirit and might, and with stout hearts lift ye forth till tomorrow. God will protect you, then do what is right. Do what is right, let the consequence follow. Battle for freedom in spirit and might. I sang that in junior Sunday school as a little boy, and my mom she'd play the organ or the piano and I'd sing that song. Do what is right, let the consequence follow. May all of us do what is right and let the consequence follow, especially in this year 2025. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.